stupid today.
How did it?
Been waiting for it to bounce. Yo, it'll be fine. Like, we were just on voice trading SMCI, and like it's already Friday again.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, having Monday off threw me all the way off because I thought today was Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I didn't really go heavy on a Tesla day trade. I would have, if I would have known that, I would have bought this week's when I saw it going crazy. I was like, no, today's only Wednesday. Then I was like, hold up, today's Thursday after I already took profits. But yeah, we were just trading.
So this week I traded I think 5 tickers. Didn't go too crazy, but everything I got in I made money on. Tuesday I posted in the watch list that I was bearish on Nvidia below 116, and then I was watching AMD below a certain level for puts. And if you were in the market this week, you saw how big of a drop the chips had on Tuesday. Like epic drop. Like I'm pretty sure you guys saw, but AMD dropped like 12 or 13 bucks. So I made a bag on AMD. If you guys put that on your focus list in the morning, bearish on chips. You made a bag trading AMD. So you know what I've been doing lately is being very patient, and I keep all my runners on everything. Like anything I trade, I'm keeping runners. So you make a bag on AMD in like 10, 20 minutes, you leave your runners go to 300%. So that's, that works out well for me. Just say I buy like 5 AMD contracts and make $500 really quick. Just my two runners can make me 600. So, that's just my strategy when it comes to trading, and it works out well. So, um, and obviously Tuesday we had a huge breakdown. The Qs, SPY, everything plummeted. So when we're moving with volume, whether it's a breakout or a breakdown, ETF options are so cheap. Like you got to get in. A lot of times we're trading stocks that might cost 150, 200, $3 a contract. Those ETF plays, 3, 4 strikes out the money are like $80. Like if I was you, I would take those opportunities. Like there's the dude Rail, he's always smacking the Qs, and he doesn't even spend a lot. He'd be spending like $80 and making like 600. So yeah, don't sleep on those ETFs. They pay really good. And you really don't have to spend a lot. It's pretty. I consider it like low risk, high reward type of thing. So that was my day on Tuesday. Wednesday I hit a firm for 70%. Um, I was not anticipating that drop. That was a really, really big drop on a firm. It was really overbought, and I did next week's contracts, and I hit 70%. If we did weeklies, I think those hit like 150%, but I'm not tripping. I still made some money, so that wound up working out good. And then today I swung crowd and XLE puts. CrowdStrike had a nice gap down at open. I hit like 60 to 70% sold, and I didn't feel too good this morning, so I didn't do shit all day. I just held my XLE puts all day, and it closed near the lows. I'm up like 20% on that, so hopefully we get a nice break below 87, and I'll cash out. So yeah, every trade I took uh last week I made money on, except for the lottos I swung into last Friday. And this week, every trade I took made money too. So I'm not doing too much. I feel like a lot of people are trading too much. And find me somebody that trades 5 to 10 times a day that makes money. I promise you they don't. So if I can just get in one trade, like I'm good. One or two, like one in the morning, maybe one in the afternoon. But you shouldn't be trading 4 or 5 times a day, because I promise you're not making money. Like your statistics are gonna go down when you're trading so much. In my opinion, I feel like you're better off waiting for a great setup. Sniping it and sizing is really important. You want to have good size on a good play. So that's kind of how I've been doing things. And Yeah, it was a short week, but there were some really good moves out there. So overall, pretty good for me. I swung SMCI puts and DraftKings calls, and obviously I'm swinging my XLE puts. So that's what I'm in. And if those don't work out in the morning, I got mad day trades for tomorrow. So I'll probably hop on voice. And we can hit some nice day trades. But that's how my week went. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions about anything that happened this week. If you want to go over anything you see rogue for tomorrow, feel free.
Y'all watching football right now, ain't y'all?
Yeah.
That's why it's so quiet.
Y'all can multitask. Come on now. Um, I know like everybody goes through their own struggles, and sometimes people go quiet. But there's a few people that used to talk all the time, and I do not see them talk at all. I hope they're okay, but um, that's none of my business. But yeah, I hope they're okay. I think they started trading futures. I just haven't heard from them, so I'm about to hit them up and be nosy and be like, "Yo, what's good?" I know it's probably hard to like try to pass a prop firm or like focus on trading your futures and doing options at the same time. So that makes sense if that's the case. I told you to slap those shorts 2 days ago, Andy. Come on, man, just slap the shorts. Let's see what happened today. Oh, um, anything interesting happened?
Yeah, we can definitely watch ABGO for earnings continuation tomorrow. It didn't make its moves yet, though. It had to do 10%. I think it already did like 6. But it can still dump tomorrow morning. So watch it.
To be
Gotta do
honest
on
with you,
a
like that's
so,
kind of why I swung SMCI puts. Like SMCI is not down big and Nvidia is not down big because of AVGO, but I had a feeling AVGO would go down, so maybe that'll make the chips bearish tomorrow. But like the big report we have tomorrow is really gonna move the future, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, AVGO dumped pretty hard.
okay. Let's watch it. That's gonna be our high alert for tomorrow. Docu got crushed too. Well, Docu got crushed for sure, for sure. So we can watch them tomorrow too if they do something. I'm gonna look at Docu.
What he posts on DraftKings. Man, why are you posting put options for a year out, man? I'm in calls, bro. No, man, I don't want to see it.
What is that, black box? It's so hard for me to read the flow on black box.
I would never look at $200,000 for a year out. That's not that's not important.
And some of that stuff is at the bid. So that's not even a buy, right? If I'm reading that right. Only one of those is at the ask.
Yeah, you gotta know how to read flow. Like you can't just be like, oh my god, they're buying. You gotta know how to analyze it.
That's the only useful
Completely.
I go because they only show you the buys.
Yeah. Spy. I got Spy going to like 542, 540. If we're bearish tomorrow, we're gonna tank so hard. We had a nasty reversal. I went back to sleep at like 10:30, but I saw we popped up. I don't know if any of you guys caught that drop, but Spy dropped like $6 in an hour. That was a nasty reversal from the highs. So there's definitely a lot of selling pressure.
Yep, and you didn't have to catch all of that either. You could have waited for the orb break back to the downside, and that gave you another $3 of that move, pretty much. And let's just recap some more trades from this week. If y'all struggling with entries, so let me show my screen. Just y'all see my screen?
Lily, don't. Yeah.
Alright, so first trading day this week was Tuesday, right? Because we had Monday off. Last Thursday, I gave y'all the lesson about the orb. Tuesday, SPX puts went 5,000%. If I held my normal position size, if I held it all the way through, I would have made $250,000 because it went 5,000%. But this is why I like the orb. So first of all, let's take off the pivots. Let's take off the orb. Let's take off the pivots. Alright, so this is just the orb levels and VWAP. We first get a break of the orb here. It wicks off of it. This level clearly breaks it. The retest, this candle, the green candle, it doesn't go above the orb. It stays below. So you could enter here. Or if you want a more defined entry, this big red candle here is your entry. Now, you always want to have your pivots on with the orb. So you want to look for spacing with the pivots. And this was such a beauty of a trade because this orb level in this pivot was basically like right on top of one another. And what I am learning is once we break a pivot, there's a good chance we'll go to the next pivot. It's not always true, but I gotta back test it to see how many times. But once we break a pivot, the next level is the other pivot. And you will keep your stop loss above either VWAP or a close into the orb. But this is Tuesday. We get the orb break, and it was just level to level trading. We break the first support pivot. Where do we go next? The second support pivot. Where do we go next? The third support pivot. And we don't quite get all the way. Oh no, we do. We literally whipped off the fourth support pivot. So runners would have went stupid. I did trade this day. I traded the orb. I don't want to say how much I got. It was green, but it was nowhere near 5,000%. 5,000%. So
Profit is profit. Sell at 15%.
Yeah. Green is green. That's a banker trade.
Green is green. In and out.
So yeah, Tuesday coming back after Friday we had that crazy rip into close. Tuesday, price show his hand. Wait for the break of each either orb side. The market action just ran. Alright, so that's Tuesday. Here is Wednesday. There was some data at 10. I think it was jolts. So here's another thing. When there's data at 10, we're using 15-minute warps. That means the level is set at 9:45. It's best to wait for the data to come out. Even if it does break one side of the orb, if we got data at 10, just wait. Because this candle wicked all the way down, literally at 10, wicked all the way down and closed up. So it's best to wait for the data to come out. We did get an orb break. This is a beautiful orb break right here because it tested VWAP. Let me change this to we test VWAP, a hammer off of VWAP, we close above the orb. You can get in there, or if you want to wait for the confirmation, this next candle is a hammer off the orb level, and remember your first target should always be the pivot. We go to the pivot and we reject it. I traded this day on IWM and I made 100% just off of this move here. I didn't even move a little more, but it's the same concept. Just off of this orb break, from here to here was 100%. And I got in late, actually. I think I got in on this hammer. It was 100%. Ravens just scored. Who was that, Derrick Henry? Okay.
You already see the touchdown? Your TV's mad ahead of mine. They scored already?
Yeah. Derrick Henry just scored.
What the hell?
What you watching it on? Cable or the internet?
Cable.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, the Ravens are looking good.
But like, you got like Spectrum cable or like
YouTube
regular antenna
TV.
cable?
YouTube TV.
Oh, that's why. That's the internet cable. That's why it's delayed. I got the antenna cable.
Oh.
But yeah, so this was 100% right there. And remember, all you gotta do is compound with the orb trades. Now I do want to say with IWM, the orb doesn't always work out. It's best for SPY and QQQ. But if the opportunity presents itself, I will, take the risk because I understand risk management basically. All right, today we do get a break of the orb, and what happened? We broke the orb, went to the next pivot point, which is resistance 1, and what happened? We couldn't get over the resistance point. So you take your profits there, and you exit. If we do happen to break this, you will wait for a retest of the resistance and get back in to try to ride it up to the next resistance level. But we couldn't break it. So we come back down. We don't get an orb retest. And I want to talk about that on Tesla. We don't get an orb retest. We come back down into the orb, right? We break it, but we wick off of it. The next candle breaks it. That's a beautiful breaking candle. And you enter puts. And below SPY, we had a gap. This is what this white area is. We had a gap fill. Once we get into the gap, your first target for the gap is always going to be the 50% level of the gap, which is what this dotted line is. We did not quite fill the gap. We got close to the 50% line and held it and went back up out of the gap. So we still have a gap to fill on SPY. So keep that in mind. Next, I want to talk about Tesla. Someone asked if we should take a... hold on. There's not a layup on here. It's on my other chart. Hold up.
Calls paid and puts paid. What a great trading.
Yeah, on Tesla. Hold on, I gotta switch my windows. Hold up. Change windows. Okay. So let's look at Tesla today. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. First, I don't know if you guys use order blocks, but I'm starting to like them. I like to use them on the daily or like zones where price will go. So let's look at the daily. We have an order block right here on the daily. Let me change this. And look where price did. Price went to the top of the order block on the daily. Let me make this bigger. Yeah. Went to the top of the order block and rejected it. And that should have been take profits. And someone asked me, should we get back in off of a 9MA retest? No, you shouldn't. You should only get back in if we break the order block. Because when order blocks go into effect, until you break them, you got to respect them. Yes, you could have, if it retested the 9 and had a valid retest, you could have rolled it back up to the top of order block, but that's really risky. But anyways, so I got the order block drawn out on the daily, right? Even if you didn't take this from open, you didn't have to rush nothing. So we get the orb set right here. We get a nice break of it. We get a retest. We get a red candle, but it holds above the orb. I'm in on this retest here because it held, and the red candle held too, so you can still stay in it. We go above the 50% level of the order block, you're almost guaranteed to go to the top of the order block. Just like if you were to go below the 50% level of the order block, you're almost guaranteed to go to the bottom. Now, once you get to the top of the order block, that's where you need to be looking to take profits and hold runners or exit your full position. Because as you can see, we hit this order block, the top of it perfectly, and it did a dumpster dive back down to the bottom of the order block, and we just closed back into the order block. So Tesla tomorrow, if we can get above 235, it'll go. If we can break and hold above 235 the order block, let's look at the daily. It'll go. So let's go here. There's another order block up here at 251. Now, surprisingly, a bunch of flow for like next week and the week after next for 250 and 240s was still coming in, so it's possible. I didn't take off these dotted lines because I don't do my levels like that no more. So yeah, that's just some more recap for this week. Like I said, you're struggling with entries. Like I don't trade the first 15 minutes of the market no more. I'm pretty much not even at my desk anymore from 6:30 to 6:45 or from 9:30 to 9:45. I get my charts up and stuff, but I just know the orb levels aren't set until 9:45, so I'm not even gonna give myself that anxiety by sitting at my desk and saying like, oh, I should get in here. Look at SMCI today. Look how choppy this was with the orb. I mean, yeah, we broke above it, but we had some order blocks above it. And the 200 SMA right above it, so there was no risk to reward here. And if I'm pretty sure, let's see if we had pivots too. Now we have any pivots before the order box, but yeah, I mean, if you're struggling with entries, I recommend using the orb. It's going to keep you on your hands until 9:45. Because, I used to get in plays like right off the open back when I was a scalper, but the orb prevents that. So you don't have a ticker they want me to look at while I got the orb charts up. Can you explain what the order block is?
I got it up. An order block is a price area on a chart where large institutional traders have placed a significant number of buy or sell orders. They oftentimes show you potential support resistance levels. So basically it's like a wall. Think of it like a wall, a resistance or a support in a huge block order that's going to prevent price from going higher or lower. And then I love, like, if you're ever talking to a friend or whoever about trading and you guys have different strategies, it's dope to see them both align. So I'm just going to show you guys a chart of Tesla from my point of view and exactly where her order block was. On the 10-minute chart, RSI was above 80. So what do we do when RSI is above 80? Or what's going to happen over the next 30 minutes? Price is going to pull back. So I don't have RSI on this chart, but at the top where it hit the quote-unquote order block that she was talking about, RSI was at 80, and then Tesla had that green shooter. So, you know what I'm saying? But, just to start from the beginning, we take pre-market high breakouts, right? Pre-market highs is 226. And I always talk about what the body of the candle looks like. Is it a power breakout? Is it a power dump? If you ever see a 10-minute candle like that, price is going to keep going up. So it had an explosive breakout with volume above our level of 226. Above 9 in VWAP, it goes straight up. Like, stocks don't move sideways. Things either go up or down. And, this is just from my point of view. And then just to show you where you want to buy a pullback. So if Tesla is super bullish today and it comes all the way back down to pre-market lows, that's where a bullish stock is going to bounce. And you see, once it came down to 226, it shot up $4. So as far as buying a pullback, like, that's a great place to buy a pullback on a bullish stock. Some people might be like, oh my God, it's dropping, and they'll get inputs right there and it's going to reverse. So yeah, that's just my analysis. RSI was above 80 on the 10 at the order block, and everything basically aligned. So that's what happened to Tesla. Super bullish breakout.
Alright, Excel, let me see. I don't know. Give me a second. I gotta change windows. I'm gonna let my cat back in the house. Yep. 1 second.
Breakouts.
Alright. So IWM. Excel, where you at? I already did IWM. No, I'm just playing. I did 1 day of it. Now, like I said before with the orb in IWM, be cautious with it because IWM is small caps, and the small caps don't move like, the big names. So just be careful with it. It can work. But again, just be careful with it on IWM. But I went over a trade today where I did take IWM and it was 100%. So let me go to my chart. Can you see IWM? I'm on IWM, right? That's what y'all see?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's just start from Tuesday. Tuesday this week, where we had the crazy ass dump. All right, so let's just turn off the pivots.
Fucking huge.
All I have
huge dump.
Yeah. All I have on this chart right now is the orb levels and VWAP. Now, I remember someone asked me that last week. Well, what do we know to take profits? Turn on your pivots. That's gonna help you tremendously. And we went straight to the pivot. Look at this. The orb level and the pivot. We broke that at the same time. So once you break a pivot, you're pretty much guaranteed to go to the next pivot. This one candle did the damn pivot move all in one. Can y'all see my chart, or is there something else on my chart?
No, you can see.
Oh, okay. There's something else on my screen. Okay, so yeah. Look, Tuesday, we break the orb, we break the support pivot. You almost guaranteed to go to the next pivot. You can get in on this one candle, and actually on Friday, this is exactly what I did. Once we broke the orb, I didn't even wait for the candle to close. Now that was super risky. It was risky because the pivot was pretty much right here at the bottom of this candle, but it still worked out. We broke the orb, we retested, and we came back down and dumped. This trade, I would have had no problem getting in on this because the pivot ain't nowhere near close to this candle. It's all the way down here. The first pivot was at 218. The next one was at 216. $2 move on IWM? Yeah, I'll take that. So look, we broke the orb. We go down to the next pivot. We just going from pivot to pivot. So you can take most of it off here. Leave runners. Trim some runners. I mean, I don't have the 9 on here, but I think I can throw it on real quick. Hold on. Let me just throw on my I'm not gonna throw on the ribbon. So on the 9 real quick. Oh, resistant. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna throw on the ribbon. It'll be easier to see. Here we go. Alright, so now I got the 9, the 21, and VWAP. So the closest line to us is the 9. So look, we touch this pivot. You know, when stocks hit levels, they pull back so people get back into the place. So we go into the 9. We don't go any higher into the 9. We come back down and break the pivot again, and we go to the next pivot. So that was Tuesday. Easy orb day. Easy orb day. Wednesday, this is the day I did trade IWM on the orb. Like I said, I reiterated, we had news at 10 on this day. We are trading the 15-minute orb. You can do a 30-minute orb. 30-minute orb is a thing too, and it works as well. But when you have news at 10 and the orb levels come out at 9:45, just wait until the news comes out. Because the news candle, this candle wicked a lot of people out. I know it was some scalpers pissed right here on this candle because it went all the way down here. So just wait. When you got news at 10, just wait till 10. Or just change your orb to a 30-minute orb. I don't change it to a 30-minute orb. I just personally wait for 10 and keep the 15-minute orb levels up. But yeah, I got in. I had a super late entry. But look, it was 30 minutes of straight up price action. So we break the orb. Boom, we go to the pivot. I see we can't break the pivot. We wick off the pivot. I'm out of runners. If we do get back above the pivot, I'll look for a retest and get in calls again. But that never happened. And then this day, Thursday, which is today, we did break the orb. We had news. I ain't gonna lie, I did enter this. I forgot we had news. This was a news candle. Now, I was down like 70% when this went all the way up. But I realized it didn't break to the top of the orb. So I said, well, let me just see what it do. And I ended up coming out the trade with like 10%. It wasn't much. It was like 10% because I had to hold through all. I had to hold this candle, like that IV spike on this candle was crazy. So I had to hold for a very. I held for. I didn't take a loss, put it like that. But I forgot we had news at 10. So lesson learned. When you got news at 10, just wait till after 10. And take the orb break after the 10 o'clock. The news comes out. But look, we break the orb. Where do we go? We go to the next pivot. All of these days, we went to the next pivot. Now, there are days where you'll break the orb and you won't go to the pivot because maybe there's an order block there. But for the most part, have your pivots up and see where you go. And honestly, some days you can take profits before you hit the pivot because the orb break will just pay you so much.
Yeah. I pretty much been looking at the 30-minute, I guess you could say, orb.
That's fine.
And yeah, like I basically got all the same, like around the same levels. And I was looking around 212. I forgot what is like the change. It was like 212.30 something. And I was like, if it stays under that, and then maybe retest like 211, I think 75 or something. I'm just going off the top of my head. It was like 211 and 212. My level was like under 212, and then it retested like 211, and then it stayed under. So my next price targets, or I guess like pivot, was like 211, and under that it would go down to like 210 something, and then under that it would go to like 208.
Okay.
On a 30-minute, that's how I was looking at it.
Yeah, I got the 30-minute pulled up right here. Now today, remember, it's a day before a big data drop tomorrow. So we did break the orb, we touched the pivot, we broke the pivot, but we didn't go to the next pivot because people are probably waiting on the data for tomorrow. But yeah, your levels like below certain here or below here or below here, we can go here. That's totally fine. And yeah, I got the 30-minute pulled up. Let's look at. Okay, so 30-minute orb for yesterday. Look at that. That was beautiful. Look at that hammer off of the orb. Boom. And we went. The pivots are gonna stay the same because I didn't change the time frame. But yeah, the 30-minute orb works just as well too. It works just as well too. You can use the 30-minute orb.
Yeah, and I was looking at like if it didn't break above, I think it actually.
What'd you say? You cutting out.
Oh, I am? You can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Alright. I'm trying to get the chart here. But
what day?
It was a 30-minute chart. But
what day? Today?
What was that day I had a pop? I think it was today or yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, it didn't break above like I think it was like what the stop loss. So I was like, okay, and then it made a move back down, back up to the levels of like 212 and stuff. So I was like, all right, that's still like bearish indication, I think, right?
Wait, no. So with the orb's gonna tell you pretty much the trend for today. So we broke out, right? You see my screen? We broke to the top of the orb on Wednesday, and this is the 30-minute orb. I have the 30-minute orb pulled up.
Okay.
This was a beautiful orb retest. That's a dragonfly. So that's a guaranteed like calls right there. And we go to the pivot. Yeah. So we have to pop up. And once we get to this pivot, you got to see how price acts at the pivot. Mm-hmm. We could break over it, and we never retested it. We never came back to retest the pivot. So you got to get out the calls.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I was like, once we didn't break out, and you know how it could bounce high, but if you bounce low and then you keep bouncing lower and lower, I was like, okay,
that's why
it didn't want that. It didn't want the 215.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Like, that's what kept me like still holding that foot.
Okay.
The best foot in the drawer.
Cook them because they're going.
Who that talking in the background? Is that you? Who's
Really?
Oh, that's real. Mute your mic.
What does that mean?
Mute your mic. But we gonna serve and mute you.
But But yeah, basically I'm saying like, yeah, I saw that it hit 215, but then it's still it didn't break above it and hold above. So,
right.
yeah.
Yep. And this move, I didn't even get in once it broke. I got in later, but I got 100% on a late entry. So
Nice.
you know, you got to be taking profits at 100%. You got to be trimming at 100%. So you don't want to be bag holding once you're up 100%.
Don't tell her that she's holding for 500%.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you do it. But take some profits.
I learned my lesson. I did that with Qs, and I was trimming down like what OK said. Like it took like 100% plus, and now I just let the runners hit more. But yeah, I gotta stop that.
Yo, you're a dog. Like,
no, what you're doing is good. Holding for those.
The Qs will be down 8, and she's like.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like in the beginning, IWM, I think I hit like 5,000% or some shit the other day in the beginning of the month.
Yeah. I mean, on Tuesday they did like SPX did 5,000%. So yeah.
Yeah. When they had that drop.
If you're not in a zero date, and even if you are, if you have time and you have multiple contracts and it's going your way, don't sell your whole position. That's not when I'm like me personally, when I'm analyzing charts, I'm looking at bigger time frames. So if it's going down the first hour, it's supposed to be lower 5 hours later. So like that's why you're looking at those big percentages. Even if you just say you have 10 contracts and you sell 7 at 80%, those 3 that go 400% are probably gonna make you more than your initial cut. You feel me? So like that's why I always harp on it, whether you guys think it's annoying or not. But most of the time, my runners like make more money than my initial position. So, always think about the bigger perspective. Don't be scalping for 30% and selling all your things. And like Tesla this morning, if you bought Tesla calls on the breakout, imagine you sold after 5 minutes. It ripped another $6. So, be patient. I unmuted you, bro. What's good, bro?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The problem that I have with is sometimes on the ETFs, like when I trade the ETFs, like on the days that it popped like really, really big, like $10 or $14, maybe I go like light on the days that I need it on, and add like maybe 500 to a contract or put a stack on it. I go light. Then the days that it don't really pop like that, I maybe put like 100 or 200 or something. Be sucking myself out.
There's really nothing you could do about it. Believe me, I went kind of light on Costco. Believe me, the past couple of days I was like, damn, like it happens. Like if you're taking a breakout, right? You can't predict that the Qs are gonna like have one of those huge days. So that's why, like, what I can tell you is I usually size the same on every trade. So, like, if you size the same on every trade, or at least day trades, then you won't be like, damn, I went light this time, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
If you always trade the Qs with 800, if it booms that day, you're going to make a couple thousand. You follow me? So just like kind of like keep your position sizing the same. At least that's what I do for day trades. For swinging, sometimes things aren't the best setup, so I'll go lighter. But for day trades, I'm slamming. I slam on day trades. Like I'm slamming. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, believe me, that happens to me too. Like I said, you can't always predict what's gonna happen, and usually your biggest plays you don't go heavy on, and the shit you go. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Look.
All right, y'all. I do have to go. This is a good little session. I know most of y'all watching football right now, but I'll see y'all in the chat tomorrow.
All right. Deuces. Thank you.
All right, Rope.
All right, see y'all.
Nah, but you be killing the Qs though, bro. You be smacking that. And I don't
And
know if you were on earlier, but I was telling people how, like, a lot of times, even if you go light, it doesn't matter. I see sometimes you have two contracts, you might spend like 180, 200, but you're making 600, 700. That's great. Obviously, you want more on it, but that's a great return for what you're putting in.
yeah, and then I noticed too when you're trading ETFs, like when they pop, it don't happen all the time at the same time, but from like 10 to like 11, like you're like at the 10:30 or 11, like expect to pull back. Or
Yep.
maybe it might go to 12 or every now and then, but most of the time it seems like from 10:30 to like 11 or 11:30, like expect to pull back, like take profits, leave your runners, and then expect to pull back.
Mm-hmm. So like after like 20, 30 minutes, the market shows you his hand. So like after some days we'll trade in the box and then it either breaks down or breaks out. I don't remember the last time we just stayed in the pre-market range, but after 30 minutes the market shows you it's either going up or down. So like you said, from 10 to like 11 or 10 to 11:30, if we're bullish, we're going to run for an hour and a half. So obviously that's when you're going to be making your bread, and you can't just hold when that shit's just ripping up. Like you said, it's gonna pull back. But
Yeah,
yeah, we usually make nice runs from like 10 to like 11:30, 12, hour and a half, 2 hours. So yeah, man.
I got you.
I remember I used to trade the Qs every day. I don't trade the ETFs as much because I'm focused more on stocks, but like I used to trade the Qs every day. You catch $1.50, $2, boom.
Yeah, I definitely practice risk management now. I know when I first got in here, I felt like I had to like get every trade, like every trade. Oh, I gotta get in this, I gotta get in that. But I don't do that no more. I just if I hit big, like during the day, one or two trades or whatever, I'm done for the day. I'm good. Like I don't want to play my money back and lose it because every time it never fail. Every time I try to over trade, I get clapped every single time. Every single time.
Yeah, like this game is really mental, and you gotta have a strategy, and like you gotta think about stuff from different perspectives. If I gave any of you guys $500, most people don't make $500 a day at their job, so you gotta think about it like work or like your job. Like if you make $400 or $500 or 1,000 in an hour, 2 hours, like why are you still working? Like if I went to work and made $500, 600, 1,000 in an hour, I'm leaving work. Like you got to have goals. You know, can't be
Yeah,
over trading, stuff like that. That's why the days that I do swing and I'm up 500 to 1,000 in the morning, why would I trade? Why?
yeah,
For what? Because if I make that for the next 5 days, add that up at the end of the week, and then do the math times 4 in a month. So you know,
yeah.
everybody wants to do their own thing. Some people just do this for fun. So, but yeah, man. Gotta lock in and be smart. And like those plays I posted last Thursday, I got clapped on all of them. But we're swinging into Friday and they're lottos, right? Am I sizing small? Do I know it's risky? Yes. I open down like 400, $500. I get in a day trade and I make like 1,000.
Yeah,
So yeah, I got clapped on all of those. But if I had no clue what I was doing and didn't have risk management, I would have put like 400 on all those plays. I would have been down 1,500 at open. There's a
yeah,
big difference between like 400 and 1,500 because I know I can make that back in a day trade. So it's okay to lose. I lose, but it's not often that I'm down over 1,000 in a day because
yeah,
that it's harder to make back 1,000. We can make back $300-400 easy. So you can lose, but keep your losses small. Like people lose, just don't make it excessive. I used to lose 2,000, 3,000, $4,000 in a day. That shit is no good.
Whew.
I used to be on some crazy shit. I would swing trade, make 10,000, and then I would swing my whole position, then lose the 10,000 the next day. Like
Oh, man.
fucking crazy. You thought about getting in Tesla yesterday?
Yeah, because I was looking at it like the whole time because I had got an alert. I said, okay, it's a back above the 9. I said, I don't know if I should get in it or not. I said, then I second guessed myself. I said, no, I'm not going to mess with it. And then at the last minute, I thought about it getting in it, but it was too late. It was already 4 o'clock, so I couldn't get in. I was like, dang, I should have went on ahead and got in. I said, it was above the 9. I said, I should have just did the 5 second rule and just got in. Went light, maybe 1 or 2 contracts or whatever, and just see how it go.
Yeah. Um, like that's the cool thing about like trading. So if something's gonna break out, it's gonna break out. So like the 230 calls on Tesla were like $100. Most people have $100 to $200 to spend. That's if you're wrong, you might lose $100 the next day. There's nothing wrong with that. But overall, the trend is up, so you allocate a little bit of money to it. Those contracts went to $6 a piece. So hypothetically speaking, you could have turned $200 into like 800.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not talking about spending 800 and making 800. I'm talking about spending 200.
Yeah.
So, like you said, sometimes we might second guess ourselves, but always go with your gut, and it's okay. You can go light. Like sometimes we might be like, "Oh my God, it's expensive. I don't want to lose." But if it's cheap, it's just do it. You know what I'm saying? I tell you guys all the time, all the stocks that I'm about to get in, and I don't wind up ripping every time. So that's why I try my best to just see it, take it, trust it. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the shit that gets me. Like it never fails. Young Stratton, I need a day trade tomorrow, bro.
I'm feeling bearish, man. I think we're gonna get a little pop in the morning. Might take a flush later on in the day.
That's cool with me.
Really think the Qs are gonna close underneath that 21 EMA.
Yep. It's time to go back down.
Yep. That's why I'm asking about AVGO. I mean, it was red on earnings. Probably see some more blood tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then they had them two inverted hammers the last 2 days. So
hmm I like seeing stuff play out because when you can analyze something and then it happens the next week, it's called back testing and studying and practicing. So I know I sound like a broken record, but a bunch of shit hit the weekly 9 last week. What happened? We went down. So when you can analyze things and see them before they happen, you either can get in a swing trade for it, or when it's happening, like you see it and you get in. You know what I'm saying? So
No, seriously. My day trades have been strictly on shooters and hammers on the 9. If I see a shooter or hammer on the 9, I'm taking my entry, especially if an inside hammer or inside shooter. That's my entire intraday strategy right there.
yeah, I think I got like 2 or 3 day trades for tomorrow, so I'm ready to hit some plays. Let's see anything. Oh, yo, I don't know if y'all look at Merck. I was like, what? Merck went stupid today. The contract were up 1,000%. Did they have news? Merck went retarded. Let's look at Dell. I think Dell's about to drop.
I'm so mad I didn't get out last Friday.
Get out of what?
I got in a Dell monthly and it went up 40% within like 30 minutes, an hour, and I didn't sell.
Oh yeah. Dell looks good. Below like 105.5. If you guys want to mark that on your charts for tomorrow. And that'll complete the big weekly breakdown. It worked out really good. I was happy with that.
Hey, this is Dolo, man. I had a question.
What's up, bro?
Yo, so for the last, I think maybe like 3 months, I put on my Robinhood watch list, SNDL, which is a cannabis stock. There's a $2 contract I've been watching just fluctuate because I bought it at $39, and that mug went up to about $1.20 at some point. I think that's where it peaked out at, but it's been fluctuating between 60 on up to 100, then it would go down to 60 for like the last 3 or 4 months. How smart is it to get in something that, because the contract doesn't expire until I think like 2026 or something, or 2025. It's way out. It's a long contract. How smart is it to get into something like that? And since it keep fluctuating between the stock price keep fluctuating between $2 and $2.10, and that same contract keep going from $70 or 70 cents to over $1. How smart is it to buy something like that and keep playing it?
And are you saying, since you're seeing the price movements, like buy the dip type of
Yeah,
thing?
every
Like
time.
buy it?
Yeah. Every time the contract dip, is it smart to keep buying that contract and selling it? Because it does have the market to sell. It's not like nobody's buying it and nobody's selling it, but it does show volume a little bit. You,
So I mean, if that's a pattern that you've noticed consistently, you said you've been watching it for a while, then
yeah,
I would definitely give it a try. Now like that's not something like that's not gonna be like your main trading style and stuff. But since you've been watching it, like I analyze contracts. I don't just look at stock charts. On Robinhood, the watch list is cool. I don't put stuff on my watch list to like just to watch it and pretend I'm making money. I kind of just put it there to analyze the contract price. And
hmm
oftentimes, like when you line up the stocks chart, right? Say a stock's at support, you can look at the contract and the contract will be at support too. And just hypothetically speaking, say you were gonna get in at a dollar, but now it's at 60 cents and the stock's at support, like that's when you buy the contract. You get the contract on discount. So yeah, looking at the contract prices fluctuate and seeing the range is really good and dope. It helps show you how they move. You know what I'm saying? And it's always good, to put a stock on your watch list and buy the contract when it gets a little bit cheaper because you're getting a better entry. So as far as the stock SNDL goes, it's super choppy. It's really volatile. So I don't know why. Like I don't know if the price is going up on the contract because the stock is actually going up. It could just be the implied volatility and stuff. But you know, yeah, for sure, it's good to analyze stuff like that.
okay, appreciate it, man.
hmm If you guys didn't know, like if you add a stock to your watch list on Robinhood, you can click the chart and look at like the day, the week, and the month. And like just say the contract opened up a month ago. If the contract has been moving flat for like a week and you look at the stocks chart and the stock is at support and looks like it's about to bounce, that's the ideal place to buy the contract because the contract has been moving flat. It's most likely gonna pop. So I do that often. Um, it's pretty cool. There's like a little, tips and tricks and shit you can do, but looking at the contract's price and buying it on a dip is really helpful. Let me look at a Tesla contract. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so August 20th to August 30th. Now let's look at Tesla's chart. August 20th, right there, to the 30th, right there. Okay. Let's see where Tesla was. Was it at support? Okay, so let's take this off. That's the purple line. So let's take this off. Okay. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about from like the contract perspective and then like the chart perspective. The 30th was last week, right? Oh, go fucking figure. Alright, look at this shit. I'm gonna give it to you from a daily perspective and then I'm gonna show you why Tesla was gonna go up this week on a weekly perspective. And then we're gonna look at the contract and we're gonna see how the contract was up and hit a plateau and rip back up. So Tesla, this is the weekly chart. It had a hammer last week, you swing calls, right? And then from a daily perspective, you could just see, it went up and came back down to the 100 and the 200 on the daily. So it was at support. So you could see it was at support on a daily with moving averages and with no moving averages and just a candlestick, it had a hammer last week. So Tesla hit support last week, right? Now let's look at the contract. So this is the 230 call. And now if you look to the right, you can see how this contract dipped and it kind of stayed flat for like 4 days. So at the top, this contract was $7 on August 20th when Tesla was at that high. And then this contract dropped to like 60 cents or 70 cents. Tesla was bullish last week. It's going to pop this week. This contract went from like 60, 70 cents all the way up to like $5 or $6. So, yeah, like that's how you can analyze contracts. Like, okay, this stock is at support, is bullish. Okay, this contract is basically on discount. It's a good price to buy this contract. This stock looks like it's gonna go up. I'm gonna buy some calls. They're cheap. And that's how I kind of analyze stuff. I showed you the weekly hammer, and then on the daily chart, you could see it was holding the moving averages. The contracts were on discount, and the contract popped. In hindsight, it's 2020, but I was bullish on Tesla last week. I was gonna swing some 220 calls, but I didn't. But it did everything I thought it was gonna do. So make sure you buy those contracts on discount. And then today, if you were on voice earlier, I was telling you how Tesla pulled back to pre-market highs and it bounced there at 226 like a bullish stock is supposed to. So this contract on Tesla, the 230 call from today, it was up 800%. When a contract is up that much, it's obviously going to pull back. Tesla was overbought on the RSI, so this contract was at the top $700. So if a contract goes from 700 to 200 within like 2 hours, like that's a huge discount. And then you line it up with the pre-market highs. That's just where you buy. And if you would have bought there, what was this return? This return in 1 hour was 100% on this call, the 230 call on that dip right there. 1 hour, 100%. So, yeah. Contracts fluctuate a lot. Try to get good entries. And like you can analyze this from a different point of view. Just say like you're looking at a contract that's been ripping for a month and it's up like thousands of percent. You probably don't want to buy that because how much more juice does the contract have in it? You know what I'm saying? So if I ever see a stock at support that looks like it's about to pop and the contract is cheap too, it's basically a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? So just a little insight of some things that I do on a day-to-day basis. NW look bearish. Inside day. PNW has a nice inside day. I like PNW puts below 338. PT 335, 332. But yeah, when a new month starts, the big money starts like, buying and selling certain sectors. So just from my analysis, like Coca-Cola's been on a huge bull run, right? I haven't seen Coca-Cola red for 2 days in a row in so long, and it's been dumping the past few days. So Coca-Cola could be at the top. I'm gonna be watching that for puts. Huge drop the last 2 days. And they've been selling healthcare too. So AbbVie had a really bad day. UNH tanked today. Lilly dropped like $50. So starting to move some money around. I like to identify which sectors are bullish and bearish beginning of the new months. So you can like target them for puts or calls. You know what I'm saying? So I always like when the month flips. You can find new plays. Lily. Oof. Lily with a fat double top. That's like a perfect double top. 975. Target. I almost did Oxy instead of XLE, but I did XLE instead. But I was gonna do Oxy because it hit a new 52-week low yesterday, and then Oxy just straight dumped today. That was a really nice put play. It also opened inside day. You could have just put the trigger below 54.6, which broke right at open. 54.6. You got an immediate 60-cent drop, and it wound up dropping a straight dollar. That was a nice trade. Oxy super bearish. And what's crazy is like I called Oxy last week, right? And I made 200%. But overall, the stock is bearish. So there's a thin line between profits and losses. And I literally hit Oxy that one day that it basically went up. So it's crazy. But you gotta be careful. That gap up on the 26th is what got me that 200%, and it's just been going down since. I'll take my little 1 day pop in and out, baby. It's crazy how that shit works out. The Best Buy is still floating in the air. Yep. ASTS gap down 20% today. Let's look at this. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I think on Voice last Thursday we were talking about Kava below 110. A lot of times the stock will respect its gap. So I was looking at Kava below 110, but overall the stock is bullish, and just like Pan W last week held this earnings gap and ripped off the gap, Kava wound up holding the gap and going higher. So, just analyzing this chart, the past like 3 or 4 days, it held the 110 like every day. So if you wanted to hop in calls like the past 2 days because you've seen it was holding the gap, 110, Kava gapped up $4 today. So that's just a little insight on analyzing gap, analyzing support. Okay, is holding this level for a couple of days. Am I going to buy calls or puts? You can buy calls. Nice little light entry, and it wound up ripping. So gaps are really important to know. Just showing you an example right there. Happens all the time. And take bounces off of the gap. Those are like high probability trades in my opinion for bounces. Apple had a hammer yesterday. It ripped up today. Look at AMD. I like AMD puts below 136 tomorrow. This shit's going back to 120. But 136 is a key level on AMD, so you can watch that tomorrow below 136. Anybody need me to go over anything else? Mm-mm-mm. A firm has a nice inside shooter. I like a firm puts below 39. That was a nice short. I should have did the combo pack. I kind of forgot. I was doing that last week, but if I added the firm weeklies and the next week's, would have smacked the firm for 160% overnight. But it's all good. Need to remember to do that though, because that was working out well for me last week. Combo pack. But yeah, if you didn't hear already, we got NFP non-farm payrolls tomorrow, which is like a big report. So we're either gonna if we drop tomorrow, we're gonna drop big. Like SPY gonna be down, SPY QQQ gonna be down like $5-6 tomorrow. But it could reverse up too. It's gonna go either way. But we're gonna definitely have a nice pop tomorrow, pre-market. So see which way it goes. You know, obviously I charted some levels today, so if the stocks are touching them, then those will be the trades for tomorrow. And if we're bullish, then have to look at some bullish stocks. Like Apple was bullish today. Meta, Google held pretty strong. Amazon was strong today. Tesla. So those will be some of the bullish stocks I'll be looking at if we pop. If you look at Tesla and Amazon's chart, if you didn't know, they're both in the same sector. They're both top 5 weighted in the XLY. They have the same chart today. They both ripped and ran and then dropped from the top. Super bullish. That's why it's good to have your watch list set up by sector because you can see stocks running together. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I almost called Amazon push for a swing. I would have been so mad, but something told me not to do it. I'm glad I didn't. And that's why it's good. Like something could look a little bearish on a daily chart, but that's why you always got to look at the bigger perspective. So like Amazon was still inside weak. So just because it dropped for 2 days, it could go up the next day. It's not a full weekly breakdown. So I'm glad I didn't call that. And it kind of held that 172 support. Wound up ripping up. Would have got collapsed. Home Depot broke down. I was gonna alert Home Depot, I think Monday, but I did. What else did I call instead? I think I called a firm instead, but the trigger on Home Depot was 365. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Tuesday it triggered Then it made a new low yesterday, and then it made another new low today. So if something triggers on the weekly in the beginning of the week, what is it supposed to do the next 2 to 3 days? It's supposed to go lower. So if you bought a put on Home Depot and it triggered 3 days ago, you made money the first or second day. You could have stayed in your position, stayed in a runner, and Home Depot made a new low. So that's why I like weekly triggers in the beginning of the week because it's supposed to keep going. So, like Tesla triggered, kept going. Home Depot triggered down, kept going. So that's the type of shit I look for. And I hold my position and swing.
What time is data tomorrow?
What time is the data tomorrow?
Yeah.
I believe it's at 9:30, but I'm about to look it up real quick. It's at 8:30. It's gonna be crazy.
Nice. So we'll kind of already have a direction by the time we open.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, you just said that you used to do ETFs every day, and then you switched over to just doing stocks. What made you do that change?
I was just kind of, like when you trade for a long time. I'll put it to you like this. I learned how to read charts. So like when it came to the cues, I was basically like, day trading. But I learned how to read charts. So like when you know how to read stock charts, when you're day trading the cues, you can make decent money, 50%, 60% quick. But when you can read a weekly hammer on Tesla, you can make 600%. So you can just make more money trading stocks, basically. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. So once I learned how to
I get
read,
it.
I just started trading stocks way more. But I used to trade the Qs like every day. I don't really do that as much anymore. But they definitely do pay. There's definitely great days to day trade them for sure. But I used to be obsessed. Like that used to be like my go-to, basically, like my first trade of the day. But now I'm usually always swinging. So if I trade the Qs, it's probably not until like the market has settled a bit, since I'm usually in swings.
Bet.
Let's look at XLE. What did XLE do this week? It broke down. XLE broke down Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It broke down the beginning of the week and kept going lower. That's why I hopped in those puts. Your weekly breakdown was at 89.4. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Boom, boom, boom. Nice downtrend. ExxonMobil fat red weekly candle. ExxonMobil finished inside day, like a perfect inside day yesterday. It triggered at 12 p.m. 114 puts. Wound up dropping $1 into close on a Wednesday. That's like 60-70%. That was nice. And like that's why I didn't have a lot of money in XLE, so I wasn't even thinking about it at all. But that's why I was just able to just chill all day in it, because I knew it was a breakdown, and in my head, by close, this is going to be lower. So I was down 30% or something like that sometime this morning, but I wound up closing up 20%. So you gotta let your shit play out sometimes, And I had a great feeling it was just gonna trend lower all day. That's what I wound up doing. Firm below 39, Dell below like 105.5, AMD below 136. You see how we swung those spy calls into Tuesday, and yeah, we were wrong, but we sized correctly, right? We lose a little bit, the market winds up dumping, and you can make 5x your loss. So, like, I'm telling you, I used to do stupid shit. I used to fucking swing trade $2,000 worth of ETF calls or puts, and when you're swinging that much, that's just way too risky. You can lose too much. So, hypothetically speaking, if you and me did that, we would have been down like 800 or 1,000 at open. That's horrible. But I was down, what, 150 bucks? I sold and got into some puts, you know? So that's why sizing is really important, especially when you got a small account. You can't be taking no big losses. It hit us with the pump and dump. Anybody need me to look at any stocks? Anything look interesting to you guys? That's funny. I'm looking on Twitter and they talking about the Tesla ore breakout. She just went over that. I swung at some CI puts. It's kind of risky. I'm basically banking on it falling out. So like you know, the last 2 days it held 408, but I'm banking on it. Like if it cracks 408, it's gonna tank. So I'm kind of buying. Like you know, it's not like a huge support area, but you know, it has a shooter on the week, and I'm banking on it going in force to the downside. So um, it was showing some weakness today, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm looking for that nice red candle to the downside. If we break 407, 406, it's going to tank. I'm looking for 395, and then I got the 390 puts. Those will hit hard. Let me look at Merck. Damn, Merck had a hammer yesterday. Fuck. That's why you just gotta take your actionable signals. Like whatever happens, happens. Apple had a hammer and ripped. Merck had a hammer and ripped. Ooh, that would have been lovely.
Apple finished with the shooter today.
Yeah, it did. It had a shooter at the 9. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna give you my perspective on something, and I don't do it often. It's kind of hard to do in real time, but a lot of times, like if a stock is on a downtrend, it usually goes up to the daily 9, and like that'll be the high of the day. And it's hard, like in real time, to switch from the 10-minute and be like, okay, the daily 9's here. This is the top. But when I was looking at Apple, I was like, oh shit, like look at that. It literally went up to the daily 9. So it's cool to look back and see shit like that. So like, if you wanted to get short today at the highs, that was a great area. I mean, Apple was up $5, which is a lot. Daily 9. Okay, I'm gonna buy some puts here. Boom, straight drop. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Tuesday's low was 221, and Apple was like pretty close to 221. So if it happens to break like 221 tomorrow, that could be a nice entry for some puts.
Apple gave you an inside shooter on the 15 at the top today.
There you go.
Yeah, by the time I hit the charts today, I was so pissed because I saw I missed the move. It was basically like a $4 to $5 move from the top in like an hour.
Oh yeah, we plummeted. I was sleeping, but yeah, that reversal was nasty. Like if we're ever green $2-3 and you look and we're down 6, that's super bearish. That was a huge drop. My favorite day trades are overbought RSIs. It works almost every time. You see the RSI above 80 on the 10-minute. Look for puts. Quick day trade. The banks be moving. Goldman Sachs with the triple top. Goldman Sachs held like 485, 484 the past few days. It looks good for puts below there. 484. Let's see. Microsoft. Microsoft rejected the 9 on the daily today. Ooh, look at that bear flag into the 9 on the weekly chart. That's super ugly. Microsoft is setting up a head and shoulders on the weekly chart with a bear flag into the 9. Perfect head and shoulders. That's perfect. And it is setting up the right shoulder now because it's rejecting the 9 on the weekly chart with a bear flag. Oof.
Yeah, man, I really think we dump tomorrow. The top 3 holdings on the queues are shooters. And then we got number 4 top holding with bad earnings.
Yeah. As far as the charts are concerned, yeah, tomorrow should be a red day, and that's been the trend. But you know, that stupid news tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. That's a really nice Head and Shoulders though on Microsoft. Next week, if it's showing weakness, we definitely need to target this. If it breaks 403, 402, it's going back to 390, 380. You don't want Microsoft to break 380 because that means we're going to be dumping. That's such a perfect bear flag. $385 to 430. What's that? $50? It hits the 9. What's gonna happen next? Is it gonna go up or down?
There's a lot of support at 400. I don't know if we broke that.
Yeah. Just something you keep an eye out for, you know, and whenever it happens, we did our work, you know what I'm saying? But I see it forming. Let's see where it's at in 2 weeks. That's not a pretty looking chart right there. And this is besides the point, but obviously I swung UNH calls until last Friday, looking for the all-time high breakout, and then it broke out on Tuesday, and I swung Google puts. It went up on Friday, and then it tanked on Tuesday. So obviously, you know, your contract dates matter too, but they wound up doing what I wanted, just obviously not on the day I needed them to. I don't know why they play with me like that. I needed that UNH breakout. Tesla had mad volume today, almost double. When she moves, she moves. Let's see where the Q's bounce today. Pre-market lows. Don't short at the bottom.
Yeah, that was Tuesday's lows.
Yep. This setup is super weird. Like, we got the same daily candle back to back right at like a key level. 457. If we're bearish tomorrow and you see the Q's below 456, 455, we're tanking all day. We're at a really key level right now. 456, 455, straight drop. Anybody need me to look at anything else?
I need the Qs to get back up to 464 so I can look for a put entry now. That'd be nice. Retest that level and dump.
For a swing trade?
Yeah.
I gave you the double top last week. It's crazy, like hindsight's 2020, but like if you look at the daily chart on the SPY from last week, you see all that distribution. Like we could not go higher at all. And then like obviously on Friday they fucking basically popped that shit to all-time highs. So but it's a huge double top. It's like a huge double top. So 564 to $20. Is that really $20 in fucking a couple days? You enter a short swing at a double top, maybe like 2 week puts, like 6-7 strikes out the money. Would have worked out at that double top. Distribution. But alright guys, I'm about to get off. It was good chopping it up. I'll see you guys mañana.